the audience. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, classmates, and family. Today's topic is something that we are all familiar with in one way, shape, or form. Because our experience with growing up from teenagers to young adults to full-fledged adults. For most of us, adulthood was spoken about like some kind of mystical, transcendent experience where you hit a certain age and then you're able to just do whatever you want. For those of us who have passed this stage and entered our real adult life, we understand that this is not necessarily the case. It is imperative that we take our personal responsibility to educate ourselves with life skills such as CPR, financing, taxes, and cooking. It is up to us to invest in ourselves and in our journey and in our futures, and protect and grow our own stores of knowledge to protect us from being taken advantage of and improve our overall quality of life. Slowly, from the age of 18, we take on more responsibility year after year. Adulthood isn't just a magic number that you reach and suddenly you know all of the secrets of the universe. It is a slow walk, accumulating knowledge as you go. We are told from the very beginning that we go to school and that school will prepare us for the rest of our lives. We go to elementary school to prepare us for middle school to prepare us for high school to prepare us for college, and college will ultimately prepare us for whatever career we choose to take on for the rest of our lives. Many of us are standing on the threshold of adulthood, and this is an incredibly delicate time in our life, where the decisions that we make will change the course of what the rest of our adult life will look like. After completing many years of school, there are so many of us that are woefully underprepared to step into this world. This is due to the fact that some of us have not been given the essential tools to navigate the world correctly. And for some of us, we have been given the tools, but we have not been given proper instruction on how to use these tools. Skills like financial literacy, CPR, and understanding how to properly file taxes, how to cook nutritious meals for your family are not optional. These are things that are vital for survival and success. And after many years of schooling, something that I have noticed that has been neglected to be taught is how expensive adulthood is in actuality. Things such as going over taxes, discussing what property taxes are on land and vehicles, are overall financial literacy, have taken a back seat in our education system. The art of balancing a checkbook, budgeting, have all but disappeared. Taxes are such an important part of our lives, but we are often left to deal with them on our own. For a large part of my youth and my young adult life, I was woefully unaware of what it took to actually purchase a home. I knew that there was a mortgage payments that must be made monthly, but I was unaware that there is a yearly property tax payment that must be made every year. Failure to pay this property tax can result in losing the house no matter how many on-time mortgage payments have been made. It is crucial for those that are looking to own their own homes and vehicles to know these policies. Ignorance of taxes and policies can lead to fines or even larger payments than initially requested. Did you know that if you find that your property taxes on your vehicles is too high, that you can appeal to your local treasurer and reduce your taxes? Falling under the same category of financial literacy is a term that most of us have all heard. The term is credit. Credit is another extremely important factor that comes into play when making any large purchase as an adult. We often hear things like having good credit and having bad credit. But what does that truly mean? And if I have bad credit, what does that stop me from doing? Can I turn my bad credit into good credit? All of these are questions that I'm sure you have asked yourselves or you have heard others around you asking. And while it is good to be educated in these things in a time of need, it is also good to be educated before you ever need them. Because while you can repair your credit no matter how bad it gets, it can be extremely difficult to repair it, as opposed to having good credit and keeping good credit in the first place. Budgeting and financial responsibility are crucial in this department. Nowadays, cooking might seem like a lost art. With so many restaurants and DoorDash so readily available to give us anything our hearts desire, for the sake of this exercise, I would like each of you to think and evaluate your confidence level and if you feel that you could cook an entire dinner start to finish. This doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be something as simple as chicken with rice. While many of us most likely probably feel very confident that we would be able to complete this dinner, we have to understand and recognize that there is a portion of our peers that this task seems daunting to. This is by no fault of their own. They have not been properly taught the value and the skill of cooking. We have to eat. There's no way around it. While there is nothing worse than coming home from a long day and having to cook, whether it's just for yourself or for a family, there is actually something that is worse. Looking at your bank statements at the end of the month and realizing that you have spent hundreds of dollars in 1 month alone just on takeout. Did you know that the average American spends approximately $328 a month on going out to eat alone, excluding groceries? For those of us who live on a budget, this is an eye-opener. Not to mention the rise in health problems that comes with the overconsumption of processed and pre-cooked foods. The duality of this problem is detrimental not only to your finances, but also to your health. The following topic of health, CPR. This is a life-saving technique that requires no machinery or equipment and can be done by virtually anybody. In terms of basic first aid, being able to care for yourself or for another, there is no reason why only medical professionals or medical volunteers or only a select few that are trained in CPR can perform CPR. There is no reason why in a restaurant full of hundreds of people, only a handful of people may be able to offer a life-saving gesture. Society as a whole needs to learn how to take care of not just ourselves as individuals, but also our other members, instead of just relying on a system to care for us all the time. You might wonder why these things aren't taught in school anymore. Traditional education has been more geared towards preparing adolescents to enter the workforce, to become an employee, to work for somebody else, as opposed to teaching self-sufficiency and survival. So of course, if you're going into the medical field, you'll be trained in CPR. Or of course, if you take up a career in finance, you'll be taught how to balance books. Otherwise, you'll be left completely in the dark. With such a heavy lean when it comes to sharpening academic skills as opposed to practical ones, it has caused a detrimental deficit that leaves our youth vulnerable and ill-prepared for the challenges that are coming ahead. The only way not to fall victim to ignorance is to combat it with knowledge. While it may seem like our system is not providing us with the necessary tools to take charge of the rest of our lives in education, part of the beauty of being in a place like where we are is that we are able to take charge of our own education. If we do not begin the crusade for our knowledge, then who will? If we do not invest in our own success, then who will? Who is going to push us harder to improve ourselves than us in times like these? We need to come together as communities. We need to be teaching one another, uplifting one another, offering to share our skills and knowledge with one another instead of gatekeeping vital information. If we feel like our system is failing, it is up to us to gather within our communities. It is up to us to rectify the situation. It is up to us to gather and solve what we can on our own and to take what we cannot change by ourselves to a higher power. We will not solve this problem by working alone, and we will not solve this problem by doing nothing. The only way that this problem can get solved is by us working together and taking accountability for our own actions and our own futures.
Very good.
And then I gotta do one more round. Everybody's still here. We have special guests.